All right.
Got it.
Got it. All right.
Got it. Let me put some perfume on.
No drinking on the job.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I think I said hi to Lenny and Bob. Go ahead.
I noticed you guys must be a bunch of alcoholics, so you keep going to all these beer halls.
Yeah, it's come. There's a thing in Lawrence, microbrewery things. I mean, where they make their own beer, and I'm not a beer drinker. I used to be. I just don't like it anymore. But I guess well, some of you guys who do like it, there some of the microbrew things that they make are pretty good, and they're selling them now to other places and stuff.
I'm noticing that Stan is inside.
Yes.
You're usually, is it bad weather?
No, it's not bad, but I think I heard somebody mowing their lawn, so I didn't have that interference.
Yeah.
Yeah. And last week, Dana, you got to help your granddaughter raise some money with for her honeymoon, right?
Oh, yes, right. And they made little over $500.
Oh.
Great.
Nice.
And do you have your little granddaughter with you this morning?
Yeah, I had her all day yesterday. Well, 2 days, Friday, Saturday. So I'm worn out.
I can relate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stan and his wife have their 2-year-old grandson 5 days a week. So,
Oh my.
yeah. All right. Well, hey, I'm glad that you guys are here together. We, Kitsy and I, got up early and left Sedalia, Missouri. Early. Anybody remember what TV character always talked about East Side Dahlia? Anybody remember that?
Yeah.
It was
I
Andy,
remember the phrase. I don't remember who did it.
it was Andy Devine who played Jingles in Roy Rogers, Dale Evans shows. And he always claimed that he came from East Side Dahlia, Missouri.
Yeah.
We were in South Sedalia, but which is not very far from East Sedalia.
Close enough.
Yeah.
East, west, south, north, Sedalia is all about the same thing. And
Yeah. So, but we're glad to get back, and Jody had everything all nice and clean and ready for us, as she always does. So, okay. Today, I'm going to tie some things together for us. A couple of weeks ago, I introduced to you all the Grace Restoration Team Fund, helping single parents. And I think most of you know our goal is to have 100 people giving $100 every month, so we can give $10,000 a month to single parents and their kids every month. We so far we've had $3,300 come in just about 10 days with some commitments for more. So that's really been cool. And we talked to one of my friends that I grew up with down in Windsor, and he and his wife started a really cool ministry at their church, the one I grew up with, to feed. I think 90% of the kids in their town of about 3,000 qualify for free and reduced lunches, and which of course they don't get in summer. Or didn't get during COVID, but they started a thing where I think they fed, I think in 5 months this summer, they provided over 6,000 meals. So it's a cool thing to hear what people are doing all over. And last week I talked to you about our giving different things away, and calling that the Grace supply chain, giving serviceable items that we don't need, that will primarily be given to single parents and their families, and accessing that when you need something, and consider giving a donation to that fund. And then today, I'm going to tie all of this together, and I'll tell you about what's going to happen to begin with, and then I'll really get into it. Everybody that we help, single parents and everybody, will get a free copy of our new book called Grace to All, same name as the podcast. And in this book, it contains 2-page articles and information about 80 of our Grace to All podcast guests. JL was one of those. Mike was one of those. Bob Engel was. I hope to interview some more of you, but I'm getting feedback from somebody. I'm not
Yes,
sure.
I'm hearing that as well. I muted mine, so I don't think it's me.
Okay, so if you continue to hear a little feedback, mute yourself till you're ready to talk. There are only a couple of you who aren't muted, so it's going to have to be Bob or Sylvia or Dana. So you might just check and see. All right. Or I suppose it could be me if everybody's muted and
How do we mute this?
Yeah.
I don't know how to mute it.
Computer?
Are you
Are
on
you
an iPhone or on an iPad or a laptop?
No, I'm on a Samsung laptop.
Okay, up in the right-hand corner of your screen,
Uh-huh.
there should be, when you move your mouse up there should be a blue thing that comes up that says mute.
And mine is on my on
Oh,
the
I
bottom.
see it.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Okay. Now, so then whenever you want to talk, just raise your hand. Or, okay, we're good now. So that we're not hearing anything. So, all right. And then, so this book that we're doing, it's got about 2 pages each on the different people that we've interviewed. And many of them have books and videos and courses, things like Mike Ruff has his Wednesday night group that that he leads, and he's got people from around the country on that. He's a good example of what I'm talking about here. People have ministries, so I'll have some Facebook quotes from them that are current, and then I'll have their information, how to contact them, and names of books and podcast or courses or things that they have. And all of them, we don't all agree exactly on how things are going to end up, but we know things are going to end up good. And it's all based on our ever-growing understanding and relationship with Papa and Jesus and grace and their unconditional love for all, pure light with no trace of darkness, perfect goodness, inclusion of all, grace to all. And sandwiched in between probably 8 or 10 of these stories, I'm going to have snippets of different things that we've talked about here on Sunday morning and some other things. And I'm going to emphasize our delightfully expecting, effortless manifestation of the dreams that Papa's given us. So before I give you what I'm going to give you this morning, this is all a lead up. Through you guys, is through your participation in what I'm calling the Grace Restoration Team, single parents and other people are going to be given, among other things, finances and stuff like that, they're going to be given a copy of this book. So they'll be given tangible manifestation of God's love and grace, money and items and things. And they'll get spiritual resources through this book, which will hopefully introduce them to somebody in their area that they can connect with personally. And if not, at least they'll have 80 options of people who are on this same journey that we're on that they can connect with. And I know it's hard for you to imagine, but not everybody's going to relate to me. And maybe everybody's not going to relate to Mike. They probably will. But they're going to be somebody amongst those 80 that people will relate to, and it'll really resonate with them. Everybody that we help financially and stuff, they're going to get, in addition to the free book, they're going to get a free participation in our 8-week Pure Light Walker course with all its books and articles and videos and things like that. So it's a comprehensive thing that that we're putting together, which, gosh, I'm so excited about, and I think you from what I've heard from you guys, you are too. So here are some ways that you can help. And in particular, I want to ask you today give me feedback on this particular message that I'm about to start, because it's the genesis of what I've written for the beginning of the Grace to All book. When people get this book, here's what they're going to read to begin with. And so this is a group effort from us, and I really value your input on it. So if you'd take notes this morning, Sandy's already taken notes, and I think Dana does too. Some of you do. Some of you have a photographic memory, so you can you don't need to actually take notes. But and then if for those who are watching it later, watching the Zoom recording, take notes. And in the next couple of days, if and those of us who are getting together tonight, that's what we're going to talk about. If you would give me your feedback on this, and then I'll make the appropriate changes before I send it off to the publisher for the book. And I'm hoping the book will come out at least by Thanksgiving. I've got some work to do on it. And also another way you can help is delightfully expect effortless manifestation of financial resources to us to give to single parents and their families, and delightfully expect effortless manifestation of administrative help for creating and maintaining a couple of Excel databases for these things, and helping me put together Facebook quotes from the guests and stuff like that. I've already written a little thing about all the guests, and I have most of their supporting information, but I want to get some current Facebook quotes. And then of course, contributing items for the Grace supply chain, especially around here, and then just spreading the word. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to read to you what I've written for this introduction. Imagine that you are a single parent, or obviously it can be anybody, but just imagine that you're a single parent, and we've come in contact with you through one of you guys or somebody else on the team, and you get this book, or for people who buy it and all around. But by the way, all the proceeds from the book and my course and the other books and things all go into the ministry. They go straight into our 501c3 thing. They go straight to the ministry. So I appreciate your insight on this. I'm going to talk for about, when I timed it earlier in the week, it was 22 minutes. It means it'll probably be about 25 now. And that will give us another, at least a half hour to talk afterwards. So hold your comments until I get to the end. And unless you see something that's just something you got to say something about. All right. So here's how the book will start. Congratulations and welcome to the Grace Restoration team. You didn't know you were on a team, did you? Well, you most certainly are, and you are a most valued, most loved, most accepted, and most appreciated member of the team. I know it sometimes might feel like you're alone, and if anything's got to happen, you got to do it because there isn't anybody to help you. But I want you to know that's not the case. So as you read through the pages of this book, you're going to find out about this wonderful team that you're on. Allow me to introduce to you to 4 of your teammates. The first one I call Papa Love. He's wonderful in every way. He's totally good. Never forget that. He chose you to be on this team before you were born. You never have to worry about Papa Love being offended by you or wonder if he's pleased with you. Papa Love has actually already given you everything you need for your life to flourish and for you to enjoy life, a different kind of life than you ever imagined in your wildest dreams. Papa Love is proud of you, protects you, takes care of you, and says you are the apple of his eye. You're going to really love Papa Love. Didn't know that, did you? Second one is a guy named Josh. You're just like Josh. He says so, and he never lies. And he's just like Papa Love. He's his oldest son. He's the mastermind. You've probably heard of Papa Love and Josh, maybe by different names, but you haven't really known them because your real life has actually been hidden in a mystery. Well, as you come to know them better, you're going to find out that Josh is the best big brother ever. He's actually the really cool big brother you never knew you had. He saved you from all kinds of bad things and troubles. He looks out for you, he protects you, he loves you, and he will do anything for you. Your third team member is the one I call Grace. She's amazing. She's your helper, your encourager, comforter, teacher, counselor, and friend. She's everything Josh is. They're like twins. Grace is the talker. She always wants to talk with you, and she's a great listener, the best, really. It's like you two have this invisible earpiece, like the Secret Service has, and Grace and Josh are looking out for you and protecting you, and you hear their voices through your earpiece, and anybody watching you doesn't have a clue that you're hearing from them. It's pretty cool, right? Grace is a fantastic team member. She's all about relationship. She knows everything and she teaches you everything. She knows the best places to go and the most fun things to do. She knows just the right thing to say at just the right time. Grace is the glue that holds the whole team together. She provides the energy and the power and gives you all the resources you need to fulfill your dreams. With those three on the team, you can do anything. And their goal is to help you flourish. As you get to know them, you can call them whatever you want. Close friends and teammates always have special names for each other. And just as an aside here, my high school reunion that we went to, we were talking about the nicknames that we had for each other. And, you know, we all grew up together. It was only one school, one grade school, but junior high and high school were in the same building. We all played ball together, played music together, hung out together. And as you know, when you know somebody that well, you have nicknames for them. So, but I digress there. Papa Love and Josh and Grace are not only your teammates, they're your family, blood relatives, same DNA. They're your family members you probably never knew you had because of the mystery. And they're your best friends that you may never have met. They chose you specifically to be in the family and on the team and be best friends. They chose you and included you. Now, in some families and on some teams, people don't even like each other much and don't get along. But that's not the case on your new team. Papa Love, Josh, and Grace always work as a team. They're always together, and they seem to be everywhere at once. It's a mystery, but it's true. Just to help you know them better and know what to expect, here's what they are all three like, individually and as a team. They are perfect, unconditional, never-ending, never-failing love. And you are the continual focus and object of their love. They are pure light with no darkness at all. There's no dark side to them at all. They abound with joy. They're super fun to be with. They are total peace, even and especially in the midst of tough times. They're unendingly patient. They're totally good and always kind. They're graciously gentle with everyone. They're always compassionate. They're faithful, never wavering. They believe in you more than you believe in you. They are all powerful, but get this, they only use their power for good. They've always been united to you and always will be. You can never be separated from them and their love. They delight in you and always love being with you. They actually plant dreams and desires in your heart, and then they delight in giving you those dreams, what you imagine, what you hope for and dream about. Get ready to rekindle some old dreams that you may have had, may have forgotten about, because they have a way of manifesting on your new team. This is all good news, and there's no bad news with this family team. No bad news. Your teammates never condemn you or shame you or criticize you. Now, of course, some well-meaning but misinformed people don't know your team at all. They may have heard the names, but they don't know them at all. They mistakenly believe the lie that they're not part of the team, or maybe the team doesn't even exist. Many of them believe some version of the big lie that they're not even on any team, or that they somehow have to earn the right to be on the team, or that they're one of the special few that got magically chosen to be on an elite team and most everybody else is excluded. Most people believe some version of the big lie, and they have a different name for Papa Love. Some call him God, some call him the Almighty, some call him Lord. But when they come to know him and experience what he's really like, they call him Papa or Daddy or Father. Many people believe the lie that Papa wishes he never had any kids or any teammates, and he's really displeased with them all. They believe the lie that Papa can't stand to be around his kids and he won't let them be on his team because of what they call sin. They use that word a lot. I don't think they know what it means. Many people believe the lie that Papa's separated from us, distant and aloof and angry and watching us like a hawk, keeping a list of every time we do something he doesn't like. It's impossible to believe, continually condemns us, and will torture any of his kids forever because somebody has to pay for ticking him off. Josh and Grace, your teammates, so want you to know that's not true about Papa. Some people even believe the dark, perverse lie that Papa Love is full of wrath, and somebody had to pay for ticking him off, so he decided to pour out his wrath and brutally punish and kill Josh. Can you imagine such foolish thinking? Some also believe one of the myriad of versions that they think is the only special way to keep Papa from doing the same thing to you that he did to Josh, but they can't agree on what that special way is. Some go so far as to say that once you've done that special thing to get right with Papa, you're good, unless you break some mysterious rule and nobody knows what it is, and then you're toast again. All of those are lies, of course. Most of them come from a system called religion. The people who believe and repeat those lies are not bad people. They're not the enemy. They're just like you and I were before we learned the truth about Papa, Josh, and Grace. The good news is, like you and I, they will all one day come to see that grace is for all, that Papa loves everybody, and that everybody is in the family forever. Oh, before I forget, let me introduce you to one more member of the team, a mysterious person who is very special. This wonderful person was born with a silver spoon in their mouth, but they don't let it go to their head. This amazing person is what I call whole, W-H-O-L-E. I mean, they're just the picture of health, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritual. They light up any room that they come into. They seem relaxed and at home around people from all walks of life. They have a great sense of humor, but they don't take themselves seriously. They don't seem to ever worry or be anxious, even though bad things sometimes happen to them. I discovered something about them that really got my attention. I think it'll get yours as well. They don't have any fear of God or ever doubt that God loves them and is especially fond of them. They seem to know without a doubt that they are right with God. They know they know above all that God is their Father, Papa Love. They're not like any religious person I've ever met. They give the impression that God is always with them and likes them and enjoys them. They're not afraid of God, just the opposite. They're at ease and at home and delight in God. They don't seem to have a list of rules that they have to keep or sacred things they have to do and bad things they have to avoid. They don't say a lot of bad words, but they don't seem to be offended when somebody else does. When you're with them, they almost always have a great attitude, rarely complain, don't talk about their problems, and don't seem to put other people down. They have a simple yet unshakable trust that Papa, Josh, and Grace always are working everything for the good. They're usually full of joy, patient with themselves and others, have a peaceful demeanor, go out of the way to be kind and good to people, have a gentle way about them, are very compassionate, exude grace and goodwill, and forgive seemingly without being asked. They seem to expect good things to happen to them. And it's almost like they have a sugar daddy who's continually looking out for them. I think you'll really enjoy meeting this person. You already know them. You probably just don't know the real them. Have you figured out the mystery yet? I'm talking about you, the real you that you always dreamed of being. Okay, I know you don't think these things about yourself. See, that's the problem. It's our false mindset. I only know a very few people who actually know the truth about themselves, which is all good. All but a few of us, thank Papa Love that number is growing exponentially. All but a few of us suffer from a false identity of some sort. We believe a multitude of lies that well-meaning but misinformed people have convinced us to believe about ourselves and about Papa and Grace and everybody else. Like me, you may have been taught by well-meaning but misinformed people, family, friends, teachers, coaches, religious people, that God's distant, dark, angry, continually displeased with you, can't stand to be around you, continually keeping a list of everything wrong to do, and you need to fear him, always condemns you, and he's going to punish you forever unless you fill in the blank of what you've been taught. Want some really good news? None of that is true. There is no bad news in the really good news. The true reality is that the only true God, as Josh calls Papa Love, is your loving Father. Like me, you may have heard those words before, but have no idea what they really mean. Your real sugar daddy is your real Papa. You are his beloved and highly favored child. The really good news is there is a true identity that you have that is more amazing than you can ever imagine. And your real Papa, the one who created you, wants more than anything for you to realize it and live the kind of life like I described above. 2,000 years ago, when the first little grace restoration teams were just forming, the man who started them and coached them was named Paul. Like most people today, he had been a religious fanatic who believed lies about God, and as Jesus said, didn't even know his Papa, who is the only true God. Well, one day, Papa Love shined his light inside of Paul, and showed him that Josh was already there, and Paul started seeing true reality. Well, that's what's happening to you and like-hearted people all over the world today. Paul calls that true reality the really good news. Here's what Paul wrote to one of his teams about 2,000 years ago. He said this: there is the divine mystery, a secret surprise that has been concealed from the world for generations, but now it's being revealed, unfolded, and manifested for everyone to experience. Living within you is the Christ who fled you with the expectation of glory. This mystery of Christ, embedded within us, becomes a heavenly treasure chest of hope filled with the riches of glory for his people. And God wants everyone to know this really good news. Those whom you are about to read about are leaders of little grace restoration teams all over the world. Most are small groups that meet in homes, coffee shops, restaurants, outdoors, a variety of places. Most also meet online in various ways. Some of the team leaders have written books and courses and blogs and make videos that are all focused on helping people get to know the really good news about their 4 primary team members, Papa, Josh, Grace, and themselves. None of these people whom you'll read about are into religion. None of them any longer believe in the fictitious, dark, angry, distant, list-keeping, punitive religious concept of God. They know the truth, and the truth has set them free from those lies. The people you'll read about are coaches who partner with Papa Love, Josh, Grace, and you. And like the original coach, the Apostle Paul, 2,000 years ago, they start little teams and get them going and check in from time to time. And their goal is to help you connect with another team, or maybe even sometimes start your own. Our goal, all of us, our goal and purpose and intent and passion is to help everyone we can be restored, reintroduced to their true identity, know the really good news, know the identity they've always had of being a son or a daughter of the only true God who is their Father, and who is pure, unconditional, never-ending, never-failing agape love, and pure light with no trace of darkness, and who is continually manifesting as grace to all people, giving and effortlessly producing by Holy Spirit power in them and through them joy and peace and patience and goodness and kindness and gentleness, the faith of Christ, forgiveness, compassion, and mercy. We're all about restoring, reintroducing people to their loving Papa and their true identity, because most people, including religious people, don't intimately know and experience the only true God as their loving Papa, Papa Love. In these pages, you're going to resonate with one or more of these grace restoration team leaders. There'll be some that you especially relate to and resonate with, and you'll want to be on their team. Welcome to their team, which is also your team. All right, that's what I've got, my first take on this, well, I've massaged it a few times, but I'm not looking for pats on the back. I would appreciate confirmation, but I also welcome things saying, hey, I don't know if I'd say that way or whatever. So you're on.
I want to say something.
Okay.
Okay. What you were saying right there was confirming something that I prayed about last night, because this is one of the reasons I wanted to talk to Mike Popovich that day that I sent you that email, Paul.
Mhm.
And I'm going to share it with you right now because this is very important. I had an experience with Jesus in my living room 14 years ago, where I started praying to God a very selfish prayer. I prayed to him to change my husband, to make my husband take us to church. And then I prayed to God to change my son, the 33-year-old one that I was telling you about that has that little girl, to change him because he had gotten into drugs. And then I was telling God, I was reasoning with him and I was saying, you have to change them because they are the reason that I am the way that I am. I'm very angry. I hurt all the time because I don't like seeing my son like that. And my husband doesn't care. And so I'm just going on and on and on. When I got to my daughter, I didn't even finish saying her name. When I heard a voice within me telling me that I needed to change. And so I kind of freaked out because I've never heard anything like that. And I knew it was coming. I heard it inside my head, my heart, but I knew it wasn't coming from outside. I'm having a conversation with God, right? And so I said, God, is that you? And then I heard an answer. And it's the same voice, but the thing about it is that it sounded like my voice. Okay. And so I heard, child, you have to change. And so I said again, I said, God, is that you answering me? And I'm just like, I'm in my living room and I'm going, what in the world is going on here? And then I said, when I said, God, is that you? Then I heard this, and this is going to bless your heart because now we're going to be able to witness to people, not tell them what they have to do. 2 Corinthians chapter 5 says that God was in Christ reconciling the world unto himself, not imputing men's sins unto them, right? And then we've been given a ministry of reconciliation. So when we talk to people that we know don't have this yet, we need to just tell them that God has reconciled them unto him. They just don't know it yet. They just don't know it. And when they find out, their life is going to be transformed. Because when I heard the voice, I said, God, is that you? This is what I heard. Yes, child, this is Jesus. Yeah, just like that.
Oh, thank
Oh,
you for
Sylvia.
sharing that, Sylvia.
And when I heard that, I said, oh my God, like this is you. You're answering me. Like you. And so the whole time that happened to me, I was just crying. I was on the ground, just crying because I'm meeting my maker, who I used to yearn for since I was a little girl. I used to think about him all the time. I just didn't know. Nobody had ever shared that with me. All they ever told me is that I was a sinner, that I might repent, I was going to go to hell. We hear that all the time, and that's why nobody comes to God, because they're afraid of that. I didn't hear a message like that. One of these days, I'll share my whole testimony with y'all to show you how God, the creator of all things, is up there, and he has a tapestry and like a puzzle, and they're like, he's just, the puzzle pieces are going on there. And then, so when that happened to me, I felt the power of God fall on me. because I was in the presence of this holy God. He's so holy. And then I repented. But I wasn't like repenting for every individual sin. It was just like everything that I was doing it against you, God, because I was destroying myself. I'm destroying my life. Not knowing that this God loves me so much. And so I'm feeling his love for me. And the salvation part, when Paul talks about how godly sorrow leads to repentance and then salvation, that's exactly what was happening to me. I was seeing Jesus. I saw Jesus on the cross. I saw him on the cross for me. And you know how God doesn't live in time and space the way that we do. Like, he can take us places. And I was taken out of my body and I went to Golgotha. I went to the past in my spirit and I looked up and I saw him. Then he looked down because I was on the bottom of the cross. And I looked up and our eyes met. I was being born from above at that moment, like I already had been. It's just that I was just realizing it. I was coming alive. And when I felt his love for me, when I saw his eyes and I felt his love, I was like Isaiah chapter 6. I was undone. I was just undone. It's like, wow. And then he gave me a little touch, guys, just a little bitty touch. He knows exactly how much to give us, that measure of love and grace that he has, because he knows that if we have more than that, we're just gonna explode. He let me feel his love for me, and then he let me feel his love for humanity. Come on, guys, I'm talking about you. And all those things that happened to me when I was a little child, when my innocence was stolen because my uncle and friends of my grandfather molested me sexually, that just tore me up. I was 6 years old, and I grew up with so much shame. I thought it was my fault. And it was so beautiful because I was receiving this grace. And then my God, he's so merciful. He showed me how my uncle didn't just one day wake up and say, I'm going to ruin your life. I was able to see that he was in the same place that I had been. He didn't know God. That's why we do those things. And let me tell you, when I felt his love, I was able to forgive. It's so beautiful, that forgiveness that you feel when someone's hurt you. Thank God, it's so hard to explain to someone that love, but you just want them to have the same thing. And that's what I've been going through lately, because I was like, Lord, I can't even go to church anymore because nobody believes that you are in them. I want them to.
Sylvia, I so appreciate you sharing that very personal thing. And we've talked about, and we're going to do a podcast interview with you, hopefully this coming week, now that things have settled back down for me. But as you will come to know the other people you see on the screen, a lot of them have had similar stories.
Praise God.
And at least parts of them. Some of us have well, we all have different backgrounds and things that we can and can't relate to. But there are people, I know for sure, there are people everywhere that will relate to your story and to each one of the rest of you to your story.
Yeah.
And it was like at the family reunion we were just at. There were some folks who I had. You were the 86 of us in our high school class, and we were all friends. We all had classes together and stuff. But there were some that I really resonated with and related to more than others. And now that's changed over the years.
Yeah.
Some of them still the same way, but some of them who I hardly knew intimately. This weekend, I got to talk to and hear about what God's doing in their life and the things that had that precipitated that. And that's exactly what I'm trying to get across in this book, Grace to All. And the reason we're doing it is to connect people, to let people know that there are others out there who have a different opinion, different understanding of God than they'd ever have ever heard before. And that and many times that God has revealed to them personally, where they just always thought, he can't be like what I'm hearing, like it's got to be different, but who do I ask, who do I talk to, or whatever.
Yeah.
And through this, I'm not naive enough to think that we're going to change the whole world through this one book, but like the little boy throwing the starfish back in the ocean, will help that one. And
Yeah.
I'm just confident that people are going to connect with each one of you guys, and they're going to connect with the other people in the book. And it's like ripples in the ocean of love that are just expanding and expanding and expanding. So thank you, Sylvia. Who else would like to share?
Oh, I would just love to tell you, Sylvia, you expressed yourself so beautifully, and you brought me to tears. And same thing when Paul was talking. It's just overwhelming, God's love. And I love the team approach. I didn't know where you were going with that. And then when you explained it, that, that is so marvelous. We're never alone, and we are on a team. And I love the number 4 whole, which is us,
Yes.
because it's just so exciting, to know the way God is, who he is. And religion has so fouled it up, but it's okay, because we're in this time and he's with us and he's working it all for good. And just whatever happens in our lives, he will restore us, because it is restoration.
It is.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Kitsy?
And I like how you use the phrase misinformed people. And Sylvia spoke to that as well with her uncle. I think you said he didn't know. He didn't know.
He would have never done that to me.
I know. And that is so true. There are so many misinformed people, and our lives can draw them closer to Christ as we let him do that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks. Stan?
Yes, I was thinking, Paul, that was very creative. Even though I knew what the end of the story was, I was hanging on every word.
Well, good.
And
good.
Based on what you shared and what Sylvia shared, what I was hearing is really a song that Andre Crouch sang again, and I'll send you the link. But the name of the song is "Tell Them."
Tell them.
Yes, I'll send you the link to it. It says, and I know the first few words of the lyrics say, "Tell them, even if they don't believe you. Tell them, even if they don't receive you. Tell them for me. Tell them for me. Tell them that I love them."
Oh, wow.
Right.
Yeah,
and who is the artist?
That's Andre Crouch.
Okay.
Wow. I look forward to getting that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. This is so good. Yeah. Okay. Who's next? Mike?
Well, yeah, I would just like to say, and of course, what you're sharing is oneness,
Mhm.
and I think too many believers really do not understand oneness. We are all one, and they're the whole world. I really like that song, "We Are the World."
Mhm.
It's not a Christian song, but it's a song that really says, "Hey, we're together. We're all one." Okay. There's,
Amen.
I mean, like I see, like there's 16 people or so here in this group. We're one,
Mhm.
you know, and you might not even like another person. I don't care, but that doesn't matter. You're one with them. And if we really get to this idea and understand oneness, and you accept it, it changes your whole attitude about everybody, everything.
God.
Yeah, I don't care if you were a racist. You're no longer a racist when you understand you're one. Okay, and
Amen.
I know I am one with Stanley. He is my brother. Okay,
Amen.
we're not the
He's
same
mine
color,
too.
huh?
He's my brother too.
Mine
Well,
too.
okay, I'll share it with you. Yeah, and so no, and that's when I really saw oneness. I mean, it just changed my whole everything in my whole all of my thinking. And of course, that's what you're sharing, Paul. In that, in that what you were telling us today, that is oneness. And Paul, the Apostle Paul said, there is one Christ, there is one baptism, there is one whatever. I forget what all the oneness that he
One
talked
faith.
about. Huh?
One
One
faith.
faith.
One faith, yes, absolutely.
One.
And so, if you get that, if you're on. Well, you basically you have arrived because
That's
I,
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
anyway.
It changes
Yeah.
everything, doesn't it? Yeah.
No, it does. So I
Beautiful.
know you may not like being one with me, but I love being one with you, and I love you,
We
all of
love you. I love
That
you.
is mutual.
Love you.
Yeah. Jeff, are you talking to Sandy or wanting to talk to us? Sandy, okay. Who's next?
Paul, are we gonna get the book? Is that part of it when we participate?
Yeah,
Is that, oh, goody.
yeah. Yes, you will. And I'm hoping that us and people like us will not only be blessed by it, but will when there are other people in our lives that uh, that it will bless them, that we'll use this as a resource to to give to other people. I mean, that's the whole goal of it, and I think it's going to have that effect. So, who's next?
I don't know how many mathematicians there are among us. However, if you want to figure, we are all one, and thank you for the few of you, well, all of us agree. But if you play around with math long enough, you realize with each succeeding generation, the odds are double with each generation and continuously double in each of the successive generations, that we're all related. We are all one. And there's no other way around it.
We are indeed.
Dictators there are in the world who are thinking, oh, wait a minute, I can't possibly be related to that. But we're all related.
Yeah, and that's the you guys have said this in different ways. To me, that's just the telltale proof in the pudding that that we know Papa and Jesus and Grace, because when you really come to know them, you know that we're all one, that we're all in the family, that there's no difference, there's no in and out, there's and that they love everybody equally, and there's no merit system or anything like that. When we start to see that, when we start to see other people through Christ's eyes, and you guys have said this, it just changes everything, doesn't it? And it takes all the pressure off. Things are easier, and oh gosh, yeah. Okay, who's next? Okay, well, thank you guys for sharing. And again, I'm very serious that I want your input on things that you'd like me to consider doing differently, or something that doesn't need to be included, or something that I missed out on, or whatever. One of the challenges that I have, and I know you guys all know this, I can be wordy, and and I don't want to do that at all. Yet I want to get across the things that Papa and Jesus and Grace are showing me that people need to hear. And throughout the book, and after I'll do 4 or 5 groups of people together, then as I mentioned, I'll add some different things. I'll talk about the delightfully expecting, effortless manifestation of the dreams that God has given us, and probably debunk some other myths. I'm not sure that that I will do that, but then I'll have an extensive index in the back where people can see the information and be able to contact those that seem to resonate with them. And so I'm excited about that. Melissa, are you unmuted for a reason?
Well, first of all, I thought it was perfect. I loved that introduction. So that was awesome. I don't know what's going on with my camera there, but it's flickering back and forth. Is it doing that for everybody?
Yes.
Yeah, it must be because you're really connected to the Spirit.
Yeah, as long as you can hear me. I just a question for you. Do you foresee like using some of the funds to have a stock of books that can be given out? Because a lot of single parents aren't going to be able to afford to buy it, or some other people that might benefit from it might not be able to buy one.
Exactly, and everyone that that we help through the fund will get one for free. But I would like to have a stack of them for all of us to be able to give away. The funds have to come from somewhere to do that. But I know some of you in the past have bought a number of my books and then given them away, as we do with other people's books too. Some of you will want to do that, and I'm confident that as I make the need known, that people will do that, and so not only for them to give away, but for if one of us at the time is not able to buy them, and I'm not sure what they'll cost, probably $19.95 or something like that. But it'll probably for the way my experience has been before, the books end up costing me roughly $7 or $8 to buy them once we're all done with the process. It takes about $3,500 to get the book published, to pay for proofreading and editing and the cover design, and to get it on Amazon and Barnes and Nobles, to get an ebook, and to to copyright it and to go through all of that kind of stuff. So what I've come to realize in the past is once I've sold about 300, if I sell about 300 books at $20 or so, I've made my 3,000 back, or somewhere close to that. That now, the $7 or $8 that it cost me, I also add about $3.50 in there, because that's what it costs me to ship one book. If I ship more than one book, it's a lot less expensive. Like shipping two is like $4.12 or something like that. So the retail price will help me recoup some of the money that we put into that. But then also you reach a point where then when it's paid for, the retail, I'm not in this to make money. When we get to that point, then the retail price, when people pay retail, that enables me to give away another couple of books. And other people have, again, as some of you on the screen right now have done, you bought 10, 15 books at a time. And I give a special rate to do that. But then, all of that adds up, and then we give them away. And I learned that from Gene Fritzl, who will listen to this, and not live, but afterwards. Gene Fritzl was just, before, when I was just first starting to even think about Christ in you, the hope of glory, which is the one scripture that I quoted today, he was buying the shack 100 at a time and giving them away, and just giving them away to anybody and everybody. He probably gave away 1,000 of those. And then, as we got to be friends, he did that with my books. And then when we got excited about the Mirror Bible, he bought a couple of $1,000s worth of those so that we could give away at church, which many of you are recipients of those. That we could give away and send to other people and stuff. And, some of us have the resources to do that. Some of us don't, but we all have different things that we can do, and that different ways that we can be a part of this and contribute. And unfortunately, money is the one that gets talked about a lot, but it's not by any means the most important. It's just God has blessed some of us with the ability to do that, some of us with the ability to help in lots of other ways, some of us with the ability to tell our story compellingly, and to encourage others. And that's what's so neat about the team thing. I mean, this is not a lone ranger thing. So I answered your question with a lot of words, Melissa, but I hope you got the message.
You did. So maybe initially, those of us who maybe not able to afford the $100 a month yet, we could certainly make a $20 donation, which would pay for a book. And
sure, whatever. And as you guys know me, I give them away. When people can't afford, I give them away. So that it's not I don't ever want anybody to go without because they think they can't afford it or somebody else can. So that's so every little bit.
Sorry, I just have one more quick thing before, because I thought of this last week and I didn't speak up, so I wanted to. It has to do with the Grace supply chain. Mm-hmm. And one of the things I thought about was that I've experienced this. I've known many mothers who have experienced this. We all want to give our kids advantages in life, and people, with two income families, people that make a little bit more money can better afford to do that. I'm
Sure.
talking about things like music lessons, karate, piano lessons, a tutor when their kid is behind, isn't doing so well in math, all of those kind of things. They're not literally a good that you can hold in your hand, but services that single parents can't afford. And we might want to consider, I don't know, some funding for stuff like that on the Grace supply chain, if
Sure.
anybody feels like donating that, or if any of us have one of those skills and feel like donating some of that.
That's a great idea.
That's a good
Yeah.
idea.
That's absolutely a great idea. You see, I think you guys can see Jody's comment. Very good point, Melissa. I like that a lot. And I would echo that. And today, it's not as good as in person, but today you can tutor people and give lessons, music lessons online, and they don't even have to live in the same state that you're in. I give my grandson in South Carolina trumpet lessons online. And so there are those of us who can, some of you, well, there are different things that we can help, that we can offer, that we have skills. And that's great, Melissa. And that's something that I want to keep in the database of, okay, we've got X person here who's willing to spend an hour a week tutoring somebody in math or whatever. And we'll keep that database. Kitsy?
Well, I just wanted to remind everyone, and I think you have said this, Paul, people don't have to give $100. I mean, they can give whatever they want,
Yes.
less, much less, more, much
Yeah.
more, whatever. So I don't want us to get confused with that.
Yeah.
Anything is fabulous and totally acceptable and will be blessed.
Yeah. Thank you. JL.
It's totally about what God leads you to do. You don't want to be ahead of God. You don't want to be behind God. You want to be with God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amen.
Exactly right.
He will tell you. He will tell you, just like we were talking about earlier today. He will tell you what's right for you.
Yeah. That's exactly right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, who else?
I'm sorry, I don't know everybody's voice, but whoever just spoke just now, I don't think that was Bob.
It was JL.
Good.
JL?
What was JL? Oh, I know JL. I should know his voice. As far as, God instruct me, showing you the way, there are still, I guess, a lot of people we're trying to reach who don't believe there is a real God, but there is a real God. And I think Sylvia really touched on that today. And she was at the foot of the cross with the Lord. And I was out in my backyard, about 20 years ago. And I won't go into detail on it this late service, but I wanted to pop a big question, that only required a yes answer. It was at night, about 10 or 11 o'clock at night. It was dark, about this time of year. And, well, Lord, do you want me to do this? I got a huge, big meteor. And within a minute or 10 minutes later, I thought I'd ask again just to make sure. Lord, I did understand you correctly, right? And off to the left, I've got another huge meteor. I don't know who could have been in charge of that. That could be fate. That was so real to me, almost had a heart attack.
That's awesome, Roger.
It is. Yeah, I love hearing.
God can do it all things are possible for him.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love hearing your stories. I really do. Oh, anybody else? All right. Well, great to be with you guys again. And thank you for letting me explain this and for being with me in these last 3 weeks. This is this whole concept just has, I'm not even going to say potential because I can see it manifesting, helping just lots of people all over. And it's amazing. It's amazing what can happen when God gives you a dream, and especially a collective dream, that, you know, he gives it to somebody, and then when we're together, we flesh it out, and, oh, how about this, or how about that, or whatever, and different ways and things, ways of seeing how we can do it and stuff. And
He verifies our dream through others.
yeah, clarifies the dream to others. And and boy, you know, just the scripture that somebody's mentioned already this morning, all things are possible. We can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. And I just, you know, what comes to mind is a single parent struggling, maybe no hope, no reason to hope, in an apartment somewhere in Boise, Idaho, you know, getting help, coming to realize this, and just totally changing their life, and then being a beacon of light to help other people. And then one day we'll all get to hear these stories together. Carolyn, do you have something you want to say? Nope. Okay.
Good job.
Thanks. All right. Well, it's going to be fun seeing what happens together. And I think what I'm going to teach about next week is 1 Corinthians chapter 2. For those of you who are interested, you might read through that this week and listen to what the Lord has to say to you. And I might not teach on it. Something else might come up, but that's what I've been thinking about. So great to be with you all. If you do have comments and things about that you'd like to suggest about what I read to you this morning that I'm going to do, again, get it to me in the next couple of days, because I'm going to record that part of this and make it into a podcast and a YouTube video that will come out when the book comes out, as well as putting it in the book. So there we go. Look forward to seeing some of you guys tonight. Love you all. See you next
Love
time.
you.
Be blessed.
Love you.